Hi, it's Jo and Steve from Freshagenda, and Steve, we're back this week, post-Christmas, Happy New Year, to try and regain some credibility and see if we can get along.
Yeah, getting on would be good. We're here to talk about our global dairy directions update. We did a quarterly update for December, which has got quite a bit in it. Let's just run through some highlights from that to start off with. And I guess the big picture stuff is more positive. We're heading into a period where we know the supply is slowing down. The demand side is doing a little better, and that's improved. It's that old low prices fix low prices thing. So there you can see a couple of the graphics out of our work that show the balance of the market and where what that's doing for ingredient values going forward.
And it is a bit more positive than the previous month, isn't it? Just given that we're certainly seeing a slowdown in Europe, and as you say, that trade activity has picked up.
Moving on to some of those fundamentals, the tension index, and we've done some doctoring to our tension index with the changes in the intervention regime and the rapid clearance sale that's been underway, which we'll talk about more. It's caused us to readjust or take out the adjustment factor we made for intervention. So
because that was a significant factor that was affecting that MTI measure.
Yeah.
But it's looks like it's not going to be a factor.
Over to Europe. So look, quite a fluid situation with milk slowing down through winter, and that affects product mix in a big way. And we're also going to see a much tighter situation as we go through winter. Milk price is going to fall. Mud's going to tighten quite a bit. We've seen hay prices skyrocket. Naturally, that always happens when demand picks up. So there's still quite a lot of maybes in that analysis. How much skim milk powder reduces is very important, and what happens to butter supply.
Sure. And also, I suppose the outlook for farmgate prices have been held up, but as we saw, that lagged effect of fat and protein values, will cooperatives try and hold it up a bit longer, given that supply's already slowing and margins are pretty tight? That's going to be an interesting one to watch. It
is an interesting arm wrestle. So intervention stocks, do we have the end in sight? So on our projections, we've redone these several times because of the pace of sales. We have them going out in the middle of the year. It's going to be interesting to see what happens immediately with this first tender, which comes out later this week. So we've done quite a bit of work on this factor, trying to say, well, if that large lump of powder is coming out over the year to June 19, what's the impact of that on the marketplace and where's it going? So that chart there shows, it's a waterfall chart that shows several factors, trying to come up with an end bar which looks at the change in availability, the net availability to the world market. So it depends on a lot of assumptions, the big one being skim milk powder production during winter and then spring, because that will milk flows and obviously the appetite for that production. So that domestic consumption bar there is a big drawdown in that availability if that's what occurs. On the other hand, we've got US domestic consumption, which is reducing for non-fat dry milk. Therefore increasing availability. That's right. So we've got some conflicting factors there. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But it sort of underlines why S&P values are firming. Yeah, absolutely it does, in the short term at least. The US balance is also very interesting, very diverse impacts across the US, with the southwest still growing, still adding cows, the northeast and upper Midwest in retreat, with the economics being pretty poor. So that's that very stark contrast in where cows are being added and taken out, and there's a net reduction that's been building for a little while now. The critical thing for the world market is American cheese stocks and quite low prices historically. So that's hanging over the market, and we think is a depressing effect on export prices for cheddar in the market. So possibly a bit more competition for Australian and other cheese exporters. The trade story is quite positive. There's been a recent pickup as we measure things. We measure things not only in product but in milk solids equivalent. So we've seen a spurt in the last couple of months, which lifted the last quarter to October. Yeah, that 7.8% increase. We've just lost a caption there, but that's the last month.
but also to put that in perspective with where we've been in previous years.
Yeah, which the bottom chart does. It's not a great change, but you can see where in the chart on the right where the product effect of that is. We've got butterfat still catching up.
Yep.
But total butterfat is still 7 or 8% behind peak trade, which we reached 2 years ago. Cheese is showing some promise.
Yep.
And if you leave the US effect out of cheese trade is growing 4%. So that's
it's pretty steady, yeah.
Yeah, from the developing market, it could be a bit stronger. I think all eyes are on skim milk powder and how much appetite there is for that.
Yeah, because we've certainly moved a bit of that in the last little while.
So just summarising some things. So on the positive side, slower EU milk, butter prices seem to have stabilised, and we've got skim milk powder firming. China seems to be back. There's more positive messages out of China regarding their capacity for whole milk powder and skim milk powder. That's something to watch as well. And then the truce and the trade war could improve everyone's feeling about the world market.
That's really unfolding this week, so that will be an interesting one to watch.
On the negative side, New Zealand season's still strong. It's still raining. It's still quite good pasture growth. It's those Latin American exporters which are causing some angst. They've still got a lot of product available. Their milk is slowing down.
Brazil is importing again, so hopefully that's a bit more contained. Yeah.
And as we said, US cheese prices are quite weak. So in summary, that's a mixed picture. So our projected values show a mixed story, but butterfat might steady. We've got it there falling a little as more milk comes online in Europe. We've got skim milk powder improving, cheddar weakening a bit, and whole milk after being flat is going to pick up as well. So it's a mixed picture. Sure,
and then that right-hand chart is always just showing what some of the sensitivities are and how they can shift those prices if they go either way. So interesting times.
Over to your chart of the week, Joanne.
Chart of the week, and just to pick up on, I guess, the key factor that we're watching, which is EU production. And this is just the latest data, weekly data out of Germany and France, two major producers, and they've fallen behind pretty strong year-ago comparatives. So, again, encouraging that milk supply is slowing down there. And it obviously will be interesting to track that over early 2019.
Yeah, okay. Well, this appears to have got off to a smoother start than we finished last year. So we thank everyone for tuning in, and we'll be back the next couple of weeks.